Hannah here. I am here to film this morning a little quick breakdown of headstand. So I've had a lot of requests for this video, and I will say that I teach it a little differently than some people do. I don't teach it against a wall. I think that the wall can be used as a crutch, and it's almost harder to get away from it than is worth the empowerment of getting up against it, I guess. So I like to teach a lot of strength away from the wall, a lot of stability, and a lot of trust. So I will also point out that it's best to start possibly with a 20-minute class that kind of opens up your hamstrings, that stabilizes your shoulder girdles, maybe has a little bit of core work involved, and that kind of makes you feel really strong and engaged in your body before you just kind of drop right into this. I'm going to keep this video pretty short, possibly 10 minutes, so I don't have time to do all that right now, but you can also go back to my channel and do the 25-minute beginner flow. You can do the shoulder stretching one, the neck stretching, but you want to be able to feel that you can really tap into your core and into the strength of your legs, because a lot of that is going to come into play with this. So to get started, there's a couple options. So again, I don't teach away from the wall. If you feel most comfortable doing that, you can. If you don't have a lot of space in your house and there's a lot of furniture around, then you can definitely move against a wall. Possibly stay away from the wall as much as possible, like a couple inches, so that you're not hitting your booty up against it, but possibly can bend a knee and kind of tap your toes to the wall if you need. So, but if you're feeling pretty good and you've been practicing a little bit and you want to just kind of stick away from the wall and just see what you got, then we can start there. So, to start first, we're going to bring your hands together into a fist. So I like to keep it an open fist, like you're sort of protecting an egg. So it's still an engaged fist, you're still gripping your fingers, but it's a nice sort of stable, your wrists are in line with your palms and in line with your elbows. There's no sort of releasing of the wrist there. So you're keeping everything engaged. Imagining that you're almost sort of squeezing a block between your elbows. You're going to release them down onto the ground, and I'm going to remove my hair clip. It's best that I don't do it with a bun or anything on top of your head. So you're going to release it onto the ground and make sure that your elbows are about shoulder distance apart. So what happens a lot of times is we sort of just drop into our shoulders. We think, oh, it's a headstand, so we're just dropping into our head. But what I want you to think is that you want to keep this engagement of lengthening up. So you're going to press the ground away from you. You're going to tuck your chin and nuzzle the crown of your head towards the ground, sort of this back of your head, this sort of soft spot when you're a baby. That is going to come right in between your palms. So the crown of the head is light on the ground. You're going to keep pressing the shoulder blades away. So notice the difference if my shoulder is slopping and then my shoulder's nice and engaged, lengthening through my neck. You really don't want a ton of pressure on the crown of your head. I had someone tell me once that imagine that you can take a piece of paper and sort of slide it between the ground and your head, so it's very light, so you're not putting a lot of pressure on your neck. From here, you're going to tuck your toes and lift your hips. And again, check out the shoulders, make sure everything feels good and engaged. And you're going to start to walk your toes forward. So this is a good start. This is a good place to be if you're just kind of working into your hamstrings, working into your shoulders, what it feels like to be a little upside down. This is where sort of fear might get involved, and then you've got to start to talk yourself through it. And I will talk you through these areas where you can start to find strength so that you're not worried so much about extending up, but these sort of spaces that you can find where you start to build this strength so that as you start to extend your legs, you don't have to worry so much because you know you're strong enough. So we're going to do some things that maybe are even a little harder than a headstand first, so that when you press up, it feels nice and light. So as you come back up, walk your toes forward. And again, you can do this a few times until you start to feel comfortable. But then from here, you're going to bend your right knee in towards your chest. So what happens a lot of the times, we want to kick our heel up, and we always start kicking. We're going to start finding this space. And don't allow extending your legs to be the utmost goal right now. Think about first finding that strength in your core. So what happens when we start to kick up is you start to find this instability in your neck and in your shoulders. You're more worried about extending your legs and creating a nice foundation, a nice base to keep yourself safe. So as you start to bring your knee in, keep that heel towards the glute, knee in towards the chest, like you're making yourself into like a little ball. And then you can release that right leg, and then you can bring the left knee in. And maybe shift your hips forward a little bit.
Then you can switch side to side. This is going to kind of give you some stability and some strength in your shoulders. From here, you're going to start to lean into a little more, and then as you flick your hips up, you're going to draw that second knee in towards your chest. So when I say flick the hips up, I kind of mean like pressing them up and towards where the ceiling and the wall meet behind you. You're going to feel your low belly engage. You're going to squeeze the legs in and flex the toes. So the more engaged the feet are, the more engaged your low belly is. And you're slowly going to release down.
Right back the same way you came in. And child's pose is always there if you need it for a second, or you can just come back up to sitting on your heels. So I would say to hold that for a few moments, breathe into it. That is ultimately really going to be harder than headstand. You're kind of creating this alternative balance in your knees and your hips. So what happens is that you start to have to find the stability in your core first. So as you start to come up, once again, if you want to press all the way into headstand, you're going to start first, always in your little egg shape, drawing your knee in towards your chest, heel towards glute, and then your second side. And you're going to press the heels slowly up towards the sky, keeping everything engaged. Nothing has really changed here. Keep pressing into your forearms. Good. Breathe. Draw the low ribs in, legs together. Good. You're going to come out the same way you came in, nice and slow. Bend the knees in towards your chest. Take your time. One leg first, and then the other. And then slowly come up. Good, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of stability in the way that you press into your headstand. You can start with just a few of those little modifications. Maybe first bringing your head down and then just walking your feet in and back and just getting to know what it feels like to put a little weight into your forearms. And then from there you can add on with bringing one knee into your chest, release it down, and then the opposite side. And you can kind of do that side to side until you really feel that you can stack your shoulders over your hips. So that's going to be that action of sort of that flick of the hips up. So you're going to think about stacking the shoulders and the hips and the feet. So that's where a wall might come in handy. If you are using a wall and you start to flick your hips, maybe one toe comes to tap the wall just to give you a little stability until you can start to find that core engagement. And then keep your knee pulling in towards your chest and then press your heels up towards the sky. So you want to think of this action of pressing the ceiling away from you as you extend your forearms into the ground. So hopefully that is helpful, and I'll probably do a couple more of these just to kind of break down a little bit more, but hopefully that kind of gets you started, gets you feeling comfortable. So again, make sure you have space in your house. You're doing it outside. If you'd like to bring pillows around you, if you feel like you're going to roll out and you need some support, you can do that as well. But trust yourself and know that you have the power that you need, especially if you start out maybe with about minimum 20 minutes of sort of a flow, getting everything warmed up. So have a great day, and feel free to subscribe below or comment on insights or any questions you might have, and I hope you have a great day.